Hey guys, Sonyx here. I hope you're currently having an amazing day. Today we're going to be going over a movement guide for Apex Legends Season 24 updated. So before we get started, go to your settings and turn your auto sprint on, always sprint to on, and you're going to change on your controller, you're going to put your crouch button as toggle. Okay, that's a really important setting that I want you to have if you want to maximize wall bounces. Now if you want to maximize a different technique later called bunny hops, then you're going to keep that at hold, but for right now keep that at toggle. My button layout is also set to default as well. So as you can tell, my controller buttons are set here to the left, so anytime I move my character around you can see exactly the buttons that I'm pressing. So that should help you if you need to rewind the video or if you need to slow down the video and see exactly what buttons I'm pressing so you can maximize and learn the movement technique correctly. Now the very first movement technique I want to teach you is the wall bounce. Now the wall bounce is the quintessential movement technique in Apex Legends. This is the movement technique that you'll see all masters, all pro players will use most of the time, because this one is the one that is most efficient at almost all fights. You can use this to get into a fight, and you can use this to get out of one, or escape enemy gunfire, or pretty much make yourself a much more difficult target to hit. There's so much more uses to wall bounces. As you can tell, we can get over this wall. I'll teach you all that in a little bit, but the main thing that I want you to know is that wall bounces are actually not too difficult. The very first thing you need to know is you need to first know what a slide jump is. A slide jump is essentially where you just sprint, you slide, and then you jump. Now as you can tell here, I'm using a PlayStation 4 controller, so I'm going to be using circle and then X. That's it. Circle, X. That's it. So I'm sliding and then I'm jumping. Now the thing that I want you to know is that if you have your weapon stowed away and you have your melee weapon out, or just your fists, you can do this much quicker because you don't actually need to be running for so long in order to initiate a slide jump. Now if you have your weapon out, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. As you can tell, I get this thing called a dead slide. So as much as possible, if you are able to, have your weapon stowed away, but if not, you're just gonna have to run a little bit longer and you could still initiate the wall bounce like that. The first thing that you're gonna wanna do is if you maximize that slide jump really easily, I want you to practice going to a wall like this. Now if you don't know, this is the firing range, this is the area. If you want to practice exactly where I am, it's going to be in here, okay, in section 2. Now the first thing I want you to do is to practice slide jumping into a wall, and that's it. Literally hit the wall. Don't do anything else. You're just literally going to slide jump and hit a wall. That's it. Okay, make sure don't do it at an angle, do it straight ahead of you to make it a lot easier for you for right now. Okay, slide jump and hit the wall. That's it. Now with your left joystick, which is going to be the one that moves your direction forward, backward, left, right, this is going to be the one where you eventually are going to, as soon as you hit the wall, I want you to practice pressing your stick backwards. Okay, watch this. I'm going to put my stick backwards. Okay, it's going to make me fall off the wall. You see that? See, I'm falling off the wall as soon as I press backwards. I'm going to slide jump, hit the wall, press backwards, I'm going to fall off the wall. As soon as you press backwards, right, you're going to jump again. That's it. You're literally going to slide jump, hit the wall, push backwards, and then jump again at the exact same time you press your backwards button. So it's going to look like this. You're going to slide jump, hit the wall, backwards, jump. Hit the wall, slide jump, backwards, jump. Backwards jump is simultaneous, by the way. Hit the wall, slide, and then backwards jump at the exact same time, okay? Slide jump, backwards jump. Slide jump, backwards jump. In a sense, wall jumps are not too difficult because all you really have to do is just maximize that little technique, and it's going to be a little difficult at first because it's going to be something that you're going to have to learn and program in your brain, but once you get the hang of that, I promise it's going to be a lot easier the more that you do it. Now with wall bounces, you can come from an angle like this and do a wall bounce, or you can even come from an angle like this and still do a wall bounce. You see that? It gets much more difficult when you come from a side wall bounce. See, I was able to even miss that one. See, it's really difficult, but you can still do it if you practice well enough like that. The reason why this is really difficult from a sideways point of view versus the straight position like this is because whenever that you hit a wall bounce, you're going to want to make sure you actually are facing the wall. When I'm doing the sideways wall bounce, I'm turning to the wall as soon as I get the chance. You see the difference there? If I'm facing the wall, it's going to be a lot easier because I'm already looking at the wall. in order for you to do this correctly, when you do a wall bounce, you want to make sure you turn at the direction of the wall as soon as you are about to hit it. So see how it's one more extra step if you're coming from an angle like that? It's one more extra step versus if you're just facing the wall. So that's just the next tip I have if you want to do a directional wall bounce like so. Okay? Now, in order for you to do this correctly, just practice the front-facing wall bounces until you get really comfortable with those, and then eventually start slanting it just a little bit more. You see I'm slanting it a little bit more, and then before you know it, you can slant a little bit more. Do it gradually and do it progressively, okay? And then before you know it, you could do much more slanted portions like that. And before you know it, you could start doing the really, really slanted wall bounces like this. Now, there's a lot more to wall bounces than I can talk about in this video. So if you want to learn how to use them correctly and how to use them in fights and really, really know how to maximize them efficiently, click on this video in the top right where I specifically go over wall bounces in depth. Now, the next movement technique I'm going to go over is the fatigue bounce. As you can tell, the fatigue bounces are super cool because I'm not actually having to slide in order for me to do a wall jump. I'm literally just by the wall itself, and then bam. You can even chain. You see how I'm chaining different fatigue bounces together in order for me to get this cool technique? So cool, right? You're like, Sonic, how does that make sense? You told me earlier you need to slide. Well, technically, yeah, that's the first wall bounce that you need to maximize, this one. And that's still really, really important in its own way. But for a fatigue bounce, you literally don't have to slide. This is also called the infinite wall bounce technique because literally infinitely wall bouncing as much as I want. Now, in order for you to do this well, all you're really going to want to do, I want you to look at this, and then you're going to just jump once. And as you can see those boxes, right? Those blue boxes. But what if you jump a second time? You can't see those blue boxes anymore. You see that? If I jump a second, third, fourth, fifth, I can't. But if I wait a few seconds and I jump, I can see those boxes again. See that? Now, this is essentially what you call a fatigue bounce. If I jump once, I'm not in fatigue mode until I jump a second time, or third or fourth or fifth or sixth. You have to initiate your first primary jump, and then you now have an access to a fatigue mode. Now, fatigue bounce is really, really simple. All you're gonna do is gonna get to that position where you're gonna be in fatigue mode. So just jump once, jump a second time, keep jumping, keep jumping, keep jumping. As soon as you get the opportunity, you're just gonna run and hit the wall, and then just hit your stick backwards as soon as you hit the wall. It's pretty much similar to that wall jump that we talked about earlier. As soon as you hit the wall, you're gonna walk forward a tiny bit. You're gonna put your stick backwards and then just jump once. You see that? That's all you have to do. It looks a little bit weird at first, but the more that you practice this fatigue bounce, it's gonna be so cool to implement this in fights because you could do it from a standstill position like so, and then bam, you're good to go. Didn't mean for that to rhyme. That was cool. So you could come from an angle like this, you could literally just jump once and bam, fatigue bounce. You don't actually have to stand at a wall, keep jumping multiple times, and then initiate. You can even pair that up with a regular wall bounce where you wall bounce first. Now, you know, your fatigue mode, and then bam. Now, fatigue bounces are really unique, and in order for you to maximize them in fights, you're gonna wanna watch this video on the top right where I talk about fatigue bounces in depth, how to really, really use them correctly, and you know, how to really maximize them in fights. Now, the next movement technique is a quick slide / fade slide. Now, this is a really, really awesome technique because this one is essentially a no momentum slide jump. So cool because, like I said, when you need a slide jump, have your weapon out. I can't just slide jump. As you can tell, I'm trying to slide jump to that bin right there. I can't. See that? If I have my weapon holstered, I can. So the reason why that exists is because if you have your weapon out, it takes you 3 steps in order to slide jump. If you have your weapon holstered, it literally just takes you 1 step and you can now slide jump. Now, the reason why a quick slide exists is that way you could pull stuff off like this. You guys see that? Okay, really, really, really cool. Fry, holster, unholster, fry. Super cool. Now you start looking like Faide, because Faide, that's his favorite technique to use. Literally called the Faide slide for a reason. So in order for you to do this correctly, it's slow down the binds if you need to. You're first gonna want to shoot your weapon, right? Let's just say you shoot your weapon, right? Just like how Faide does. You're gonna holster your weapon, and you're gonna run. As soon as you start running, you're gonna reholster your gun back, and then slide jump. That's a lot, okay? So slow it down as much as you need to. You're gonna have your gun out, you holster your weapon, you unholster, and then slide jump. So it starts to make a little bit more sense, right? You do that fast enough, and you start to be able to do stuff like that. It looks, I'm gonna do it really slowly. Watch the binds, okay? A little bit faster now. And now at full speed. That's a fade slide, just quick slide. Now this is really, really important because it helps you get to cover much faster. Imagine you're doing this and then now you try sliding it. Now I'm stuck. But if you're here and you do a quick slide, you have your weapon with cover in a perfect position to fry this guy. This essentially just makes you so agile with your weapon out. Practice doing it without even shooting. So cool. It's so freaking cool. I love this one so much. Now the next really, really awesome movement technique I'm gonna go over is the bunny hop slash bee hop. Now this one is really just a quintessential Apex move where you literally, look at that. Bunny hop, bunny hop, bunny hop. So cool. I love this one so much. Now I'm doing this with my settings at crouch on toggle. As you can tell, it looks a little bit funky on the left. I'm crouch jumping. I'm just literally just jumping, crouch, jump, crouch, jump, crouch. I'm interchanging the jump, crouch. Kind of like a pattern where it goes ding, 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 ding. I know it's a little bit weird to do that. Thankfully no one's home. Ding, ding. So if you get the timing of this down, perfect. I would recommend doing it this way because having the slide on toggle makes it much easier to do wall jumps. See that? Now if you have it on, if you have your slide on crouch on hold, a little bit more difficult because now you have to hold your crouch in order for you to do that wall jump, and it's look how hard that is for me at least. See, it's way harder to do wall jumps for me, at least in that sense. It's still possible, but now you can't just let go of your crouch. You have to make sure you hold it and then time it perfectly. For me, and I value wall bounces way more than bunny hops, so it all depends on you. But let me show you why this is so much more powerful with bunny hops. All you have to do is just slide and then just jump. You see that? I'm literally just running, sliding, and then just jumping. Jump, 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 jump while holding my crouch. See the difference there? Now the next movement technique I want to go over is a Superglide. Now this is literally one of the coolest movement techniques because you literally feel like you're flying with this one. I love this movement technique because it showcases just how cool Apex Legends, you know, how cool it is, like all the different little niche things about it. This one is so sick. I love doing this. But the thing is this is probably one of the hardest movement techniques, so please pay attention when I talk about how to maximize a Superglide. Now Sonic, exactly what is a Superglide? You know, what is it? So it essentially is when you just jump. As soon as you climb or mount an item, you're jumping and you're sliding at the same time. You put that together and you're gonna get an effect where you're launching yourself so far from where you are. You see that? You see how much further I went out versus when rather just doing something like this. I'm just gonna hit this yellow one. That's my marker. So in order for you to do a Superglide correctly, find a platform which you can mount. It's literally anything that you can climb, any platform that you can pretty much just climb. You see I'm doing a climbing animation. Now that you find something to mount on like that, you're going to want to make sure you're going to be jumping and crouching at the exact same time on your binds. As you can tell, I have circle and X binded to my jump, so I'm pressing those two buttons. Now I'm able to Superglide pretty consistently now because I get the feeling down the more that I've done it. Now technically speaking, right? Technically speaking, the jump has to be like a frame or just like a couple milliseconds, you know, 0.00, something like really tiny, like one frame apart. The jump has to be a little bit ahead than the crouch. But in order for you to even like realistically get that on a controller, it's near impossible. So stick to just, you know, doing it at the exact same time, and you're gonna get the feel down. Eventually your I don't know what's gonna connect, the brain or the game, like your muscle memory is gonna be able to form just exactly when to Superglide. So you're not gonna have to worry about, you know, the one frame apart thing unless you're playing on a mouse and keyboard. So that's when it starts to get really important. But for right now, as a controller player, just try worrying about pressing your jump and crouch at the exact same time as soon as you get through that climbing animation, like right when your screen shakes. Okay, that's the magic key. As you can tell, I'm still trying to do it consistently, but I'm not able to do it 100% of the time. So I have moments where I literally can't Superglide at all. and I have moments where I'm able to super glide pretty much all the time. Now, this is really frame dependent. As you can tell on top right, I have 240 frames. So I have to hit it, like I said, within the same frame. The jump and the crouch have to be almost within the same frame. And that's really difficult with 240 frames. If you're playing on a console, I know it usually maxes out 120 frames or even 60 frames if you have an older console. It's going to be a lot easier for you in console lobbies because, like I said, it's frame dependent, so it's not going to be as stringent for you when you try to super glide. For me, as of right now, it's way more difficult, but the timing is still there. You can still hit the super glide pretty well. Now, if you do want to learn how to do this on mouse and keyboard, put your jump on space and then put your crouch hold on V and then toggle crouch C. Now you can press C or V as well as your spacebar to jump with just your thumb. Now the nice thing with mouse and keyboard is that you can tweak the actuation points just a little bit so that way you can hit the jump frame just before the crouch, okay? So that's how you can tie in your super glides on mouse and keyboard, but unfortunately controller players don't have that luxury. Now Moki Sniper did come out with a super glide trainer that I will put down in the description that really helps with mouse and keyboard players, so check that out and check out his video on super glide if you want to learn how to do that on mouse and keyboard. See that? That was really cool. That's called a sideways super glide. Now I'll go over much more in-depth super glide techniques just like that one in my full super glide technique in the top right. So check that out when you get the chance. But imagine how cool that is. Imagine super gliding on someone. Literally one of the coolest abilities that you could do. I mean, you'll get the jump on someone even cooler than a wall bounce. Honestly, super gliding on someone is 100% cooler than getting the wall bounce in. So practice, and I guarantee you're gonna have a lot more success than you realize. Now the next movement technique I want to go over is the super jump. Now this is a really cool movement technique because this is really easy to explain once you get the hang of it. It's actually 100% success rate once you get the hang. It's not like the super glide where it's like, okay, I'm gonna get like 30% of the try. This is 100% if you get the hang of it. So that's a regular jump, which is just interact jump. As you can tell, I'm just pressing square X. See that? I'm just interacting, jumping. That's a regular super jump. That's a regular jump. Now a super jump is gonna look like this. Huge difference. You see that? I mean, that's quite an insane difference. And if you get really good at it and you start doing multiple, it's gonna start looking like you're in a bouncy house. Literally so cool. I love this movement technique. You start chaining it up and it's literally, I mean, let's say there's someone up there, right? Bam. So cool. I love this one. Once you get the hang of this one, it's going to be so easy. So in order for you to do this, all you're going to be doing is, like I said, square X, which is interact jump, right? Do that fast enough. You're not going to get the super jump yet because it's going to be one more step here. It's just going to be interact jump. That's it. Interact jump. So as you look at my buttons, I'm pressing interact and then jump twice. Interact, jump. Now, the way I do this quickly, instead of using my thumb to come back down, like the thumb joint, like the thumb print itself, like the tip of my thumb, instead of using that to press my square and then X, I just simply press square with the tip of my thumb, and then where my joint of my thumb is at, I just use that to press X. Because it's already, look, if you press your fingerprint, your thumbprint on top of square, your interact button, and you see where your jump button is, your thumb joint is already resting on that place, okay? So all you're doing is just pressing your interact with your thumbprint, and then you press XX with your thumb joint. Now that's the biggest advice I'd have if you really want to get good with that. You can just bring your thumb down, and press it downwards, but it's going to be a little bit more difficult. You have to be tighter with your timing, and you might not be as fast. But it all depends on you, whatever makes you feel comfortable. That's just the biggest advice. And before you know it, super jumps are a thing of the past. So, and you could do it with these vertical zip lines as well. And you're gonna be launched forward instead of like, look, this is a regular jump. Kind of meh, right? This is a super jump now. Now for mouse and keyboard, this is so easy. Literally the easiest technique. For your jump, for your key 2, you're gonna keep that scroll down. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna press interact and then scroll down, because your scrolling down is registering multiple jumps, right? Because if you scroll down, as you can tell, I'm like jumping multiple times. but that's registering like 150 or like whatever, how many, like 12, 13 jumps, right? So all you're doing is just scroll down and bam, you're literally just, oh, it's so easy in mouse and keyboard. That's why I didn't even really include the overlay. It's so easy for that one. Now this is going to go to our last movement technique that I want to go over today, which is going to be the mantle jump. The mantle jump is essentially building off of the super jump we learned earlier, because essentially a mantle jump is going to look like this, slowly. Like that. It's going to mantle to this. Literally, you're just going to be at a zip. You're gonna get off the zip. You're going to be in a mantle position. You're gonna be basically in this position, and then you're going to super jump. That's it. That's what a mantle jump is. Now a little bit faster, it's going to look like this. Right, not too shabby, but that one takes a little bit longer where you actually have to stand, you have to look up and then super jump. That's like the baby super jump. Now I'll show you the much faster way, but this is going to be a little bit more difficult. That's why I want you to practice that way so you can understand how it kind of works in your head. But this one, all you're going to do, the faster, much more difficult way, is you're going to be in this position, you're going to back up and then super jump at the exact same time, okay? You can't even do it slow-mo. That's how difficult it is. It's pretty hard to do it slow-mo, so you're going to have to just do it, you know, like that, and then super jump as soon as you back up. So you're gonna pretty much mantle, fall down, and then you're gonna super jump at the exact same time. So that's a faster, more accurate mantle jump. That way, no one will be able to hit you, and it looks really cool. So slow down the video, look at the binds, and just see exactly what you need to press. But essentially, all you're doing is you're going to be in a mantle position, you're backing up, and then you're super jumping all at the exact same time. It's really difficult, probably more difficult than the Superglide, to be honest with you. And if you fail, you're going to go upwards like that, okay? You should start doing stuff like that, where you could chain, you know, your weapon, and then as you can tell, I was able to chain a Superglide too. So you could like start putting everything together, and you could start becoming a movement demon yourself. You know, as you can tell, it's not too difficult the more you work on something. So the biggest advice I'd have for you all for learning different movement techniques, especially the key fundamental ones that we talked about today, practice one by one. Don't overwhelm yourself by trying to learn them all. Let's say there's, you know, 7 of them, right? So spend one day learning one, spend the second day learning one, spend the third day learning one, and then by the end of the week, you're probably going to be learning all of them really easily. So don't overwhelm yourself by trying to learn all of them at one time, you know. Take your time, know what your strengths are. If you're really good at wall bounces already, okay, then work on Superglides today. So it's not too difficult the more that you get the hang of it, okay? If you're still a beginner and you're still learning how to maximize, you know, the fundamentals, that's also pretty difficult itself. So I will go over a specific beginner's guide itself and talking about all the different weapons, all the different things, to not overwhelm you and just teach you the basic fundamental techniques that you need to know for this season specifically as well. And then that'll be in the top right and in the description down below. All the other related videos will also be in the description down below, including my live stream, and I'm so excited to announce that we're bringing back channel memberships. This was already a thing, but now we're really gonna, you know, get into it. A lot of members have already joined, so we're gonna be doing, you know, a lot of unique community stuff with this channel. So I want to, you know, get your input of how we can take this channel to a bigger direction. I want you to be a part of it. So if you want to take that step in the right direction, that'll be in the link down below. And since I'm live streaming a lot, since you're a channel member, it'll show that you're one of the Sonyx family members here. You can put cool new emotes just specifically just for you guys. You'll have loyalty badges, early access to new videos. There's so many member benefits, and I'm currently working on more right now. I would love for all of you to be part of the Sonyx family, so the link will be down in the description. Now, I hope you were able to learn some of the movement techniques that Apex is known for. If this video was helpful for you, please consider leaving a like, sharing it with your friends, subscribing, and commenting down below if there's any other specific guides that you want to watch. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and please never forget to take care.